Welcome to the MENA Surge podcast, the ultimate source for all things Web3 and FinTech related in the MENA region. Powered by FinTech Surge and Future Blockchain Summit, taking place at Dubai Harbor, October 15th through 18th, alongside Expand North Star and in association with Jitex Global. Great, and we're here with Anil Sethi, CEO of Creed & Bear. Thanks for joining us today.
Nice to meet you, Stephen.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you became to be a part of Creed & Bear.
Okay, so I'm born and raised in Switzerland. I'm half Swiss, half Indian. Lived most of my life in Geneva and trained as a lawyer in Switzerland. Then joined the banking industry. I worked for, I would say, almost 22 years in different blue chip private banks in Switzerland, in France, and I moved to Dubai 12 years ago. I came here with my wife. She's originally from Kenya, so Dubai was kind of a good in-between kind of gateway between Europe, Kenya, India. Came here as a banker, worked 11 years in different positions in banks here. In my last role, I set up as the Chief Operating Officer a private bank here in the DIFC. And a couple of years ago, just before COVID, my wife left banking and became an artist. And when she started by doing drawings, voice notes, she would call them. And we met in November of 2020 with the founder of Terra Virtua, who had a platform that you might know here. Mm-hmm. And he suggested to my wife to start doing NFTs. And I had no clue what NFTs were. She captured it quicker. She started doing it. I didn't really pay that much attention. But then in February, I think 2021, there was the transaction of Beeple for $70 million, and suddenly my banking kind of...
There's money to be made here.
Yeah, I was like, can you tell me a bit more about these NFTs? How does that work? Mm-hmm. And that's how I started becoming interested in the whole space.
Okay, great. And so tell us a little bit about what Creed & Bear does and how you became involved in running Creed & Bear.
Yeah, so when we, just to bridge with what I was saying before, is once she started doing NFTs, we were both very interested in the whole ecosystem. And because that was just the start of the lockdown with COVID, once the hardcore lockdown stopped, we decided to do, once a week, we would do kind of a curated dinner at home where we would invite 10 people from the digital space. And we usually did that on Sundays or Monday evening. And I started listening to all these guys coming from different, backgrounds and explaining what they were doing, their journey, a lot of very young people. And I was like, wow, this sounds very exciting, more dynamic than in banking. And after 1 year and a half, the meeting, I met most of the players in the space in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I was starting to say, is there something I could bridge? Is there a way for me to bring my kind of traditional experience, TradeFi experience, and work with somebody who would need that experience? And that's how I met the founders of Creed & Bear. Two individuals originally from Italy, but having grown up in Switzerland. They had met in 2012 and had started developing algo trading solutions for Forex and equities. First, kind of as a hobby, they were like, just testing different solutions. And then in 2019, they incorporated a company in Zug, and they did a first seed to finance their operations. And some of the original shareholders were all independent asset managers in Zurich and Zug, who helped them start their operations and do all the research and development. And once they had started developing, they were a bit limited in terms of hiring, in terms of talent acquisition of, for what they were starting to do, you need a lot of data scientists, computer experts, programmers, coders. And they met a third shareholder who was already based here in Dubai, who suggested to open an office here. And that's when they came in end of 2021, opened the office in 2022. And that's where we met and we started the discussion, because the idea is like, okay, great, we have these solutions. We are a data-driven tech company. We can use those solutions. One vertical would be to use our technology to trade digital assets. It works very well because there's more volatility. It's maybe a less crowded market than traditional in the traditional asset class. But we would like to have an institutional offering. And this is where they approached me, because I was coming from the traditional banking. Let's join our force together and make an offering for institutions.
For sure. And so I always enjoy hearing the story of how do you go from large corporate banking into something that is essentially not a startup per se, but something that two guys got together in 2012, moved to Dubai, and then shortly after hired you as a CEO because of your corporate banking experience, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say we are past the kind of the startup phase, because they raised already quite good money at the seed phase in Switzerland in 19, which has allowed them to scale up the operations and come here. And Dubai being Dubai, everybody's running here, can go fast. And in 2022, we got our office, the offices in May of 2022. And by July, August, we already had 30 employees. So it was very, very quick. When I stepped in, we already had a good base of employees. We also hired another person coming from traditional finance. It's our CIO, who was a partner in Saracen in London. So we had a very unique blend of talent between crypto natives and traditional corporate bankers. Right. So I find that's quite unique in what we are doing. And the transition from a corporate to a startup is just that, things go faster, everybody does everything, you realize you can do a lot of things, and it's very exciting. Yeah. And the whole space here is very dynamic. So, I mean, Dubai is the perfect place for this kind of sandbox approach and testing new technologies, new strategies. I think it's the perfect place for that.
Would you say that that was one of the big pushes to move the company to Dubai last year, was just how dynamic Dubai is to run a business?
The few big reasons was the speed at which we could hire people. Because if you look at developers and coders, they come from all over the world. We have people from Ukraine, from Russia, from South America. Getting work permits for these kinds of profile in Switzerland would have taken a lot of time. So that was great. I mean, the second reason, I think the regulatory landscape here is really a form of partnership. So you can really have a discussion. And I mean, the UAE is at the forefront for digital regulation between DIFC, ADGM, VARA. It's very supportive for companies like ours. Access to capital is very good because having good regulation, helps bring capital. And having regulation capital, we also have access to a big talent pool of young people coming and being very happy to come and live in Dubai. So I think this combination of these three makes it a great place. Then it's also such a good gateway for the whole region. And we are a data tech company, but we also, at the cross line with a fintech. The whole fintech industry here is very supported and has got a lot of growth potential, being of the location and the geography where we're sitting.
Yeah, great. And that's really refreshing to hear, because as I'm sure you know, we are actually co-located with a show called FinTech Surge.
Yes.
So FinTech Surge and Future Blockchain Summit really have this sort of ethos of disruption, disrupting the large corporate banking systems, disrupting the way that we pay for things, the way that we transfer money, the way that we invest. Blockchain, obviously, with the virtual assets and the different types of currencies now that you can trade with as well. So those together, to us make a very, amazing, disruptive, transformative show. And you said you were here for 10 years, 12 years, right? So coming from the large banking environment, and now you're in sort of that transformative space, how have you seen the region's ecosystem change over the last 12 years?
So if I just take one step back also, I always find it's interesting that in the last maybe 10, 15 years, technology has impacted our lives so much. We order food, the way we consume music. If I sing, I'm old enough to remember that I used to buy LPs. Then from LPs we went to iPods, and from iPods we went to, a compact disc, and then, the way we have, that certain of these industries have been disrupted is incredible. Traveling, how we order food, Airbnb, how we, Kareem, Uber, this is all part of our life and we take it for granted, but it only happened in the last 10 years.
For sure.
And it's incredible how it's changed. But for some reasons, in the financial space, especially in the banking space, the integration of technology has not been as fast. And I think maybe it has to do a lot with, post 9/11, banks were submitted to very heavy regulatory burden in terms of compliance, in terms of AML, and then post the great financial crisis, again, the regulation burden on banks became huge. There's not an industry which is more regulated than banking. So a lot of the management focus has been directed to a lot of the energy was shifting from innovation to more regulation, risk, governance. And while the other industries were benefiting from all these new technologies, banking, also because it's quite big and it was moving slower. But now you can see that the tech part is accelerating. And even for banks, maybe technology company might become a competitor in themselves. And they will cherry pick some parts of the industry that they like and became very strong competitors to banks. So places like Dubai have the advantage of being already kind of naturally a decentralized kind of model, where we have different places like the DIFC, like ADGM, like different Emirates. So a bit like in Switzerland, it's a naturally decentralized place where I grew up in. We have states, like it's a federal system like in the US. So this allows for a lot of innovation, I think. In a kind of a regulated environment, in a guided environment, you can start testing new things. So I'm seeing a lot of interesting fintech, testing the water and seeing new ways of doing business. And then they will eventually merge with the big banks. So there's robo-advisors coming in place. There is new ways of doing payments. The whole e-commerce has completely changed the way we're living. And then with COVID, it's accelerated that for sure. And now also artificial intelligence coming in. And the speed of adoption of all these new technology is mind-boggling. I was seeing that stat that ChatGPT, I think they took 5 days to reach 1 million users. So the whole geography here is benefiting from that. They're at the forefront. They have good regulation. The regulators are quite often partners. I worked in the last 11 years in the DIFC. It's impressive to see how it's an open discussion where lawyers, accountants, bankers, regulators can all meet in one place. I think that's it's an amazing success, and it allows for innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you really touched on it. The introduction of AI, fintech, blockchain, regtech, all this together, it's really kind of showing a spirit of refusal to slow down. So whenever technology is becoming a lot faster than what the banks can keep up with what their current processes and regulations and procedures can come up with, then we see the introduction of regtech, and we see AI all of a sudden making it a lot easier to detect fraud and to say, hey, look, this has already been tested, it's already been looked at. We can go a lot faster than having 30 different layers of managers' approvals to read something and go through the pile of paper on their desks. And so I assume obviously Creed and Bear also uses some form of AI within its trading procedures. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. So I mean, the core of Creed and Bear is tech. So it's applying. First of all, we are a data-driven company. So we collect a lot of data. For example, for the solutions we develop for asset managers, it's based on collecting data from exchanges. So there's already a whole part there. We collect data, we store the data in cloud, so you need an infrastructure to do that. Then you have to clean the data and organize it in data sets. Once you have that data ready, and already it gives you a huge advantage towards competition because we have been storing data since 2019. We apply different strategies to read that data and have an edge over other market participants by having a predictability in reading that data. So sometimes we apply traditional kind of strategies that you would have in the financial markets, not normal quant strategies, but we also apply machine learning strategies or automated strategies to process and read that data. Then another step of our AI is we have automated our trade system. So we have our own order management book, and we will connect our platform to the exchanges where we execute the trades. So through an API system, the different strategies will have been hard-coded. They are connected to exchange, and everything is automated. So it allows for scalability.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously AI can absorb and make decisions on a lot more data than the average human brain can, with a lot more clients and a lot more money and a lot faster decisions, I guess you can say as well. So yeah, this idea of robo trading or robo advisor and machine learning trading, we've heard it a few times. What makes Creed and Bear different than other wealth management companies that are also using AI?
Yeah. So again, so we are a tech company. So we provide solutions that asset managers can use. And the very unique culture that we have now is that we have blended crypto native people who have that, who are nimble, agile, can come with new ideas and develop technologies, with people like me and other colleagues who are coming from the corporate world and who are blending that governance, the risk management, the compliance, because we know that the big market is institutional. And if you want to deal with institutional, you need to have a very strong governance in place. So having that blend of talent makes the company already very unique. Then automating also our strategies and assessing gigabytes of data also gives you a huge hedge towards other competition. And if I can just bring a link to that, is that when we say fintech or anything, it's just integrating technology in an industry. And every company needs to do it. It's not only in finance now, it can be in consumer goods, it can be in logistics, it can be in commodities, because every company are seeing their margin compressing. So they need to be more efficient. And the only way to be more efficient is through tech. And I think I've been reading articles recently. I think everybody has been looking at what happened to Twitter, where the management took a very kind of a bold decision of cutting a lot of staff. And in the end, the user experience is still very good. So every boardroom in the world is now asking themselves, what do we do about this? If we want to have strong, operating margins, we need to integrate tech in a more efficient way. We will need to retrain people and change the skill sets for them to find maybe other jobs. But a lot of industries will be able to work better in a safer way, more efficient way by using tech. And part of the tech is understanding data, because all these fintech companies we were discussing before, like the big e-commerce, the portals, one thing they've been generating a lot is data. And people who can access, read and understand this data, they can do much better informed decision than other people.
For sure. And I think you touched on a great point that, fintech, blockchain, AI, they kind of seem like different subjects, different sectors of technology. But when you really think about it, AI can be incorporated into fintech, blockchain can be incorporated into fintech. So it's not really three different sectors. It's three different, pillars of improvement in this entire industry in general.
Yes.
And we talked about AI and machine learning and automated processes and robo-advisors, and it sounds like a very obviously a tech-driven environment. Do you believe that clients are looking for more robots to talk to, more robots to do their dealings, or how do you strike the balance between those looking for a human touch and those looking for the efficiency, the non-biasness, the emotionalness of robo-advisors and just all this tech being automated?
So, in the end, AI, machine learning, all these terms, they're just tools. There's a bit of mystique around it, and people like to, see kind of a dystopian future with imagining that the machines can start doing everything by themselves. But the human touch is always still key, because you need to determine the input, what input is important, and the machine is just executing in an automated fashion, but you also need to be able to interpret the output. So that the human touch is always there, guiding what kind of results we're looking for. And also, these tools and these machines cannot solve, there's some problems which are not necessarily solvable. And the machine is not just going to solve it just like that magically. So that part is the kind of this magical thinking or mystical thinking, which I don't think is happening. So the human touch is always there. And this is something we're bringing from the banking industry, is that governance, risk, compliance are very key. And if you don't have it, we've seen what happened in 2021 in the digital space. We want to avoid that people feel comfortable, dealing with these new technologies.
Right. I guess, like you said, they're tools. They're things that humans will use to be more productive, to make better decisions, to improve the things that they're trying to do already. Now they just have the introduction of certain tools, kind of like computers, for example. Yes, there was a lot of fear around, computers going to take all of our jobs. Now I think we all work from computers every single day. Without a computer, we don't have jobs. Yes. So did it create jobs, or did it cost jobs? And I think that's a great point, that AI and machine learning is just another tool that we have available to us, so the humans are actually able to do more and do it in better ways.
Exactly.
And so we know that the financial industry, it has its up and downs, and you've brought up a few of them already. You've brought up 9/11. You've brought up 2008, 2021 even. So there's a lot of things that happen. There's things that we predict. There's things that we can't predict. How does Creed and Bear implement strategies to help them kind of navigate this volatile sometimes landscape?
Okay, so just again, maybe to put into context and how we are organized at the company. So we have a company in Switzerland, and we have a company in Dubai, and then we have a holding structure in ADGM that holds both companies. And we are not an asset management company. We're just developing software solutions to trade digital assets in one of our vertical linked to our capacity to read data. And for that vertical, we focused on digital assets. And what we structured to have a solution for our clients, we partnered with a fund manager, Apex. It's one of the biggest fund managers in the world. And we opened a Cayman fund. The fund administrator is for Medium. And there we provide our technology for Apex to manage this fund. We also have a CCAV, a Liechtenstein CCAV, who is more focused and in place for our investors who are based in Switzerland, because there they just have an ISIN number and they can subscribe to a Liechtenstein regulated CCAV. What we provide then, we have a research and development team that builds different strategies like you would have in the traditional market, but they are automated strategies. And for the time being, we are only focusing on trading future Bitcoin and future Ethereum. And we trade on a range of exchanges to diversify the risk. We want to have as many exchanges as possible. And every day, the different strategies will generate an input, and the trade will be executed automatically on these different exchanges. So what is important is that we have as many strategies as possible, because diversification allows us to mitigate the risk on the downside. For example, if I take in November 21, when we had FTX, the collapse, our strategies, the aggregate performance of our strategies was up for the month. So that was a very good proof of concept that the models are very robust. And some of the models are trend-following models, some are based on breakout strategies, some are based on machine learning. But again, all of this is our tech infrastructure allows us to implement these different strategies.
Okay, great. And so, as a tech provider, what do you believe that your impact on the entire ecosystem is globally and regionally? Is it major impact, or are you just one of the players that are going to help improve the environment?
So, I mean, we're still small,
Sure. Really, what's the vision that you see this?
But the tech, I think, is powerful. If the whole asset management industry and the banking industry is changing. I mean, the way I used to look at financial analysis, I mean, maybe 15, 20 years ago, was very much a causality approach. So you would analyze a company, you would analyze the cash flow, you analyze interest rates. Based on that, you would make a prediction, or you would allocate money to certain companies. Now, with the kind of movements we're seeing in the market, the extra liquidity that has been pumped into the market, a lot of the ways we were analyzing financial asset class, different asset class, but it also applies to digital assets. Maybe we can have the same kind of level of success by just analyzing data points, collecting them, and through a more automated approach, have a good predictability there.
Great.
So, and this is what we're doing in one industry, which is for the financial assets. But I also believe we are already analyzing, using our technology for different verticals. So we could use what we are doing for commodity trading. There we see there's a lot of development in sport betting, or esports, or the whole betting industry, which is becoming huge in the US. I mean, you would know in the US, there's a lot of things happening around there, where if you have access to data, you can improve and make your businesses more efficient. So there we can help a lot of different industries. It can be in logistics. I mean, there's many applications that we're working on.
Yeah, for sure. And so, with as powerful as the tech that Creed and Bear provides, are there any innovations on the horizon that we can expect from AI-driven wealth management?
So we are always allocating a part of our budget to pure research and development. We are doing partnerships with universities in the region where they have, because again, the whole of the UAE is very much at the forefront. They have brought the best talents. I mean, ADIA and some of the sovereign wealth funds in the region have attracted amazing profiles in quant, in machine learning, data specialists, and they are buying also a lot of computer power. They're investing in quantum computers. So you can see that there is this appetite in the whole region, but also in Saudi and Qatar, to really make sure that they are at the forefront of innovation. So that's what, I mean, where we're positioning a company also to be able to hire the best talent, always upscale the people, skill sets that we have, building clever partnerships and university. We're very excited to partner with some of the universities in the region because they have amazing PhDs. We give them some challenges and see if they can solve it, and we have an interesting exchange. It's good for the student, good for us. And this is where, we want to apply some of those innovations on that.
That's great. And the more we have conversations like these, the more I see a surfacing of talent is at the core of everything. It's just hiring the right people. You also see a big emphasis on partnerships, on collaborations. You mentioned the partnerships with universities, the partnerships with Apex. This is really how I think this industry is coming along so fast. It is not as competitive as it is collaborative. And when collaboration happens, that's when growth really happens. More people on your team, the faster you can grow. And so it's really exciting to see. And it's exciting to see, Dubai grown sort of companies that are growing this fast because of this collaborative spirit, which I believe that UAE is kind of known for, being able to collaborate very well. And speaking of collaborations, we're super excited to have Creed and Bear as a strategic partner for Future Blockchain Summit. And once again, we're having you back. And I know that you're giving a presentation or a panel discussion on the global crypto resurgence. Can you give us a little bit of idea of what we can expect to see from you at Future Blockchain Summit?
I mean, already we were very grateful of our participation last year because it gave us amazing visibility. We went with kind of no real expectation, and we met a lot of interesting, just people were randomly coming to our stand. We're having a discussion. It put us on the map in the region because we were just setting up our office in Dubai. So it was a very successful event for us. It was really, really good. So now we're again excited to participate. Again, what is amazing in Dubai is that I don't even have to travel anymore. Everybody's coming to Dubai, especially in October. So we can already feel the energy of, people exciting to meet, exchange ideas, share. And what you were mentioning just before is that in a very kind of developed economy, everybody's fighting for taking market share from the competitors. So nobody's really collaborative. The digital space is still such a small space. I mean, I think the whole industry is 1 trillion. Just to put in perspective, I think Apple is 3 trillion today. And so that's why there's room for collaboration, because people still feel that what is important is that the adoption rates grow. So people are ready to exchange, people are ready to collaborate. And it's also very young, kind of, people are younger, so there's more enthusiasm and more excitement. So we expect to meet again interesting partners, be able to showcase what we are doing, and benefit from this great platform and this great network that you guys have put in place.
Great. And we look forward to seeing you there. As we already discussed, it's going to be at Dubai Harbor this year. So
Yeah.
completely new location alongside FinTech Surge and Expand North Star,
Yeah.
the largest startup event and investors event in the world, 1,800 startups, over 1,000 investors. So super exciting place to be, and we're excited to see you there as well.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.